It's not often you get to spend days like we did with the guys at TirsbaekTV. It felt like a once-in-a-lifetime trip, with Liam and Nisse giving us an exclusive peek behind the Tirsbaek estate and their own Land Rover collection. Having spent half the day getting muddy going off-road, and with my dad and uncle in tow, we went back to the castle grounds for something any Land Rover lover would enjoy. So which one is this one?
That is the County V8 90 from 1987, I believe, with under 100,000 on the clock. I think it's like 67,000 kilometers from new, so it's haven't driven a lot. Only problem it's got right now is the radiator is clogged, we think, because we can't get it to cool, but it's been standing still for some years, so we're doing some maintenance work on it, and same with some rust work on the rear. Got some new paint for it. Need to paint it, but otherwise it's pretty much box stand. They got the Exmore trim seats in it with the lumbar, where you can kind of fill air in it for longer trips, but otherwise it's bone stock. It sounds amazing. Got a new exhaust system as well. It's the old one was rusted away, but sounds. So
is this a Danish original import, or is it? Yeah.
There's a Danish original import. This one, the County, came into the country. As I know, we actually went up and picked it up on a trailer an afternoon. My dad just called me and said he brought a Land Rover. We need to go get it now. So I got an envelope full of cash and drove up and got it. It was an old gentleman who had it, and he had a mechanic look after it for him. And then when that old man said it's too, like, I can't drive it anymore, then the mechanic brought it off him and had it standing, and then he sold it to us. So it's completely immaculate state. Everything's been swapped over. So we just went up with an auto trailer, drove it onto the auto trailer, and took it down here.
We did a video. I think that's the only video it ever appeared in. The day we went to pick it up, and then we took it for. I think we came home and immediately took it out for a drive.
Yeah. I believe it had plates on it and everything. So that's quite nice. But nice. I think Dad got this one because I had a V8. He quite liked the sound of that. And then he got in touch. But again, there was no sales marketing or any adverts for it. He just called around and found a guy who wanted to sell it and knew my dad was into Land Rovers.
And it's
so he gave a call.
It's over 35 here in Denmark, which means it's a classic car.
Yeah.
So it's low tax on this one,
really?
Which is very nice versus my Defender and your Discovery, which is much more expensive. So
I remember you talking about how that works.
Yeah.
So is this working at the moment, or is it?
I think it's working. It's just not cooling. Try and twist the ear on it. See what he says. The old bugger. Maybe not. Yeah, it's not working right now, fortunately. But it got 69,599 kilometers on it, so the last stitch here haven't rolled around yet.
Yeah.
In the speedo.
And you said the additional lumbar support, so that's in.
Yeah, down here. Then you got like the thing back here where you could kind of pump it up.
Yeah.
Like you have in the Disco, actually, my Disco. That's the only thing swapped in it.
So would this have been the first Land Rover you guys had on
Oh,
here?
no. That's a lightweight where we found it. We can take we also got 3 ones back here. Some old ones. We can have a look at mine and my dad's 2 series as well. But this one's quite nice. And then we got some small rust work. My dad went to the UK to pick up something. And then he got some paint matching to it.
Yeah.
But still got some work to do. As you said, complete sandblast it and get it repainted because it's a classic. It won't drop in value. You can easily do that. And the chassis is pretty much perfect. Really good chassis on it. So.
Of this era, I just love the decals as well that you get.
I absolutely love it. You need to get a new one before you sand it down to get a complete stock one, so you can put it back on. But the color-wise, if you buff it up and repaint it or something, it will look really, really cool. I love the look of it. And the V8 Burble, of course, with the 3.5. And it got quite a bit of special system on the engine as well. It's like the first EGR kind of thing.
Okay.
Exhaust recirculation. Got this thing up here where it kind of recirculates some of the exhaust gases to go into it to make it run better. On the can't remember. No, these are Stromberg carburetors fitting onto it.
Yeah.
But it's when it runs, it's a great runner. I've been driving it quite some times back and forwards in the country. lovely sound.
So would that be more of a cruiser, just going around the country rather than working on the farm?
That's just a hobby vehicle. And then it's also got the LT85 gearbox, which was actually a license built in what's it called? Africa, I believe, the Santana series of Spain or what it was. So that's a very special gearbox, and it's quite crude or rough to shift in, but it's the LT85. I have never seen it before, so first time I did a service on it, just looked at the gearbox like, what is this kind of gearbox?
Yeah.
Had to look it up, but it's pretty much an LT95 license built, and it had some ribbons on it that then states it was an 85, and the gear shift pattern is a bit different, but they fitted it into these vehicles, so it is stuck.
I'm intrigued. A sort of minor cosmetic thing. What's with the two Land Rover badges?
I don't know. My dad wanted two. We had one laying about, and he said, "Can I have it?" It's like, "Yeah, sure, take it." So he clipped it on. It was easy to clip on and off. And then I can't remember. Did we paint the front bit? I think we painted the front bit here to look a bit, but otherwise, so completely grayed out.
Oh, awesome.
Then we've got the Freelander one. This is the work vehicle. When everything else breaks down, we take this one around.
Yeah, the dependable
Freelander. Little things in the back. And my mother's.
Also have a silver. Your dad has a Defender 90.
Yeah, Defender 90.
Silver, which is normally his kind of workhorse, but that's like the backup.
This is a backup.
And has that got the BMW?
Yeah, the 2-litre BMW 7047. That's the name of it. And the Defender got completely the same silver colour. So when they're both packed in here, you've got like the car pack, the same colour, both work vehicles, but they drive about the same. It's quite nice driving. You've got the automatic transmission, and it's really cheap to buy. There's not a lot of rust in that. So that is a very good value for money if you need a Land Rover. That's the car to get.
Yeah, same in the UK as well.
Yeah.
You can get Freelanders for not a lot, although the sort of the Generation 1 or Mark 1s, they are picking up in price.
And you can also get these ones with the V6 in, the petrol V6 versions. I've seen one for sale in Denmark. It'll be quite fun to have. They did a rally version of it in blue.
Yeah. Well, I can see as well, so you've got the back seats out. Is that something you did?
Nope.
No, so that just came with it.
That came with it, yeah. And that's part of the number plates as well, what colour the number plates are.
Yeah, Liam was telling me about it.
So when you remove the
particular...
registered as a commercial vehicle.
Yeah.
Of course, completely yellow,
So you've got the yellow number plate, which means that's commercial vehicle, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas like
this one over here,
Sport, for example, that's on the white plate.
Completely white plate.
Back seats in it.
So that's a private one.
So how do you find the Sport?
Small, to be fair. I would rather have the Disco 4, but driving a lot, just doing daily commutes, this one makes a lot more sense. And it does look quite smart in that, with the headlights and front bit. Although I do like the Evoque more than the Sport here, because they're pretty much the same size. I would rather have an Evoque when you know what you're going to use the vehicle for. But it's got very good boot space in it, and you got all the electronics as you would expect from a Discovery, just more sporty, which is also in the name. So it's lovely to drive. But the looks of it, I'm not really into it.
Yeah, and I guess that one's just completely stock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Completely stock.
Nothing wild going on.
No. Not on that one. Not
Then see, peeking over there, that's not on a Danish plate.
That's not on a Danish plate. That is my sister's husband, or engaged. They got 2 kids living over at the big house. He brought the Range Rover P38 from Germany, I believe. It was in Switzerland, and it was in Germany. Sold it to him, and it is really, really good condition. Got the 4.6. All the boxes tick pretty much for extra equipment in it, as far as I know. But you haven't got the money because, again, the stupid taxes in Denmark. When you buy a vehicle and you want to register, you have to pay the price for the vehicle pretty much again.
Sure.
It's really stupid system, because if you got 3 of these driving around in Denmark, the same specifications, they have to look at the market, what were they sold for, when were they built, how the market changed, and then they will give an offer and say you have to pay 100,000 Danish kroner and we can put it on number plate for you. And then you pay that once, you get number plates, and then it's just MOT-wise. But that's also a veteran, so he get that quite cheap when he gets it. But you have to pretty much buy the vehicle twice to have it on plate.
Yeah.
So right now he's just saving up to get it on, but it's very, very.
But I can't imagine you see many P38s
in
Denmark.
We actually have 2 in Vejle. We're quite lucky to have actually 2 of them driving around. One is a 4.6, the other one I think is a 4.0. This one's a 4.6 version. The only 4.6 we have on the farm, the bigger V8 that made Rover V8.
And what about the L322s? Are they quite popular in that? Because obviously,
no,
I don't see many of those.
You don't see a lot.
Okay, because they're, the last couple of years.
Yeah, Yeah. I think
particularly
also, like,
popular.
because of Clarkson's Farm, they've become
Yeah,
more popularised as well because of that.
I think so. But they're also getting older now, so a bit more
Yeah.
cold
Yeah.
vehicle to drive
cheap
around.
cars in the UK, aren't they?
Yeah, you can pick them up cheap.
But they look cool though.
But they're not common here at all.
No.
If anything, maybe that's just because we have like a few of them in our local town. But I think if anything, I see more P38s than L322s.
Yeah, interesting, because they're kind of like the poor cousin a little bit out of the Range Rover range.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're definitely not like super beloved. I think,
No.
in Land Rover.
And what about any of the sort of the classics, sort of Range Rover classics?
Ip, who is a chief instructor, brought a classic that he restored completely, also higher spec with air conditioning in the 1970, I think, 70 something.
Oh wow, okay.
So one of the first ones, like air conditioning, and the pump is like that big on the engine, in the Rover engine. But he's driving around in the classic. I just saw him yesterday. So we got one classic Range Rover down here.
Yeah, we'll see that in a bit.
Yeah, completely black and specced out. I think you might have it up by his place, but we can see if it's down in the barn. But that's a beautiful vehicle. That is the involvement of it. So we got kind of like the same shapes on the bonnet and so on, but the classic is just beautiful vehicle. And you also got the shaders on the rear tailgate.
Yeah.
Like the cut shaders on it. Love it. I think it was from Spain somewhere. But we got one of those as well. And you don't see a lot of those in Denmark. That's very rare. If you see one completely mangled and rusty, they're not taken care of that much.
Yeah, I love a classic.
Mm.
Yeah.
So my dad's had a few of those. Yeah, one of them sadly, probably too far gone for restoration now. But they're lovely things.
Yeah, they really are. Love to have a good classic, completely blacked out. That'd be cool.
So cool. So you mention other places, other barns.
Oh yes.
Other vehicles.
We go in the back.
No, because this isn't enough.
We got 4 here, and we got 4 outside, and we got 8 up in the next barn. Got a lot to look at. These ones in the back are more like projects or spare parts.
Yeah.
I would say. And this is also the only place on the farm where we allow to mess a bit. So we have things standing around, so it's out of sight, out of mind kind of thing. But we got that one off a guy we knew because I needed some parts for my project.
Yeah.
And we got the serial number onto it as well as the Danish paper, so we could restore it and easily get it on plates if we do the whole new chassis. But we got that one, and they got a special veer or the steering wheel here because you got the button for the horn in the middle. That's quite rare. We found out, so we're kind of protecting that a bit. Otherwise, I've taken some bits and bobs off from my car.
Yeah.
And we've got an old one over there, meant to be restored, a Series 2A.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen it driving. It's just been pulled around, so it'll be a fun project. But it looks quite nice. Not too mangled inside. Everything's there.
Yeah, they're lovely
Still.
things as well.
Yeah. I don't know what's been used for on the farm, but I think it got like some numbers put on the side like a rally car, but I don't think it's something special. I think it was a different engine, like a Rover engine in it. Yeah, so I got the Rover. So some kind of special Rover engine in it. I think that's why we kept it. It's not the 6-cylinder, I don't think. But my dad got a plan restoring that when he stops farming. I start to take over. He'll definitely look into getting that restored.
Yeah.
Otherwise, don't have any history of it. We pulled it out from the now restaurant when that was restored. We pulled it out, put it back here, and then just been standing here ever since. Collecting dust. We haven't tried starting. I think we did once, but we gave up quite easily because everything was just the petrol pipes and the carburetors.
Too old, too crusty.
And we got the old 109.
Yeah.
Which I got driven to and from school from when I was a little kid. You'll probably put some new batteries in, it will start up and drive. I think we're planning on selling it, but we can't. It's really hard for us to sell vehicles.
So does it? So you mentioned your dad. Does it come from him, the Land Rover thing, or is there someone before him even?
I think mainly it was dad, but grandfather definitely also drove some. He had a Disco 2 and he had a Series, he had a Defender, also the G-Wagon, Geländewagen. Yeah, that's quite nice. I can remember that old one.
I think some of the Land Rovers you see around here, they've been here since our parents were kids.
Like this one have been there ever since. Yeah, this one was the one my dad used to drive around before he had driver's license. He'd use this around the farm until he was old enough to drive. He could put it in high gear, and then he was around when he got his driver's license. So this one's been here ever since. And again, I think you just twist the key and it'll start up. But I think it was a slave cylinder we needed to swap inside of it, and also a generator we got laying here. Also got the steering wheel. which is a bit rare to see. But yeah, I grew up in this vehicle pretty much. To and from school was inside of this one.
Oh, fantastic.
That's quite cool.
And again, that's an original import to Denmark from you?
Yeah.
Is it, or is it, yeah?
I believe this one, because you can see the red here, is an old fire truck when he got it, and then he repainted it a bit crudely. But yeah, you can see the red up here as well. This was an old fire truck from the Danish fire department when they used it. And then he brought it up. You can see the old sticker here. This was Welbelle Have Service, is like the local town's gardening service and snow clearing. So it was.
It's had a few jobs.
It had a few jobs before it ended here.
It's worked.
It's definitely been driving quite a lot. And then we have my 2 old ones back here. We got the old Disco, the TIE Fighter. Fortunately died. I got deployed, came back home after 6 months, tried to register it, and it was just completely rotten.
Yeah, so is it just, rot? Just too much, yeah?
Yeah, it's just too rotten. So now I just use it for spare parts. I installed the heater module in my own currently driving, because this one had the cold climate pack, which the Discos was an optional extras, where you actually have the diesel heater mounted right here on the bracket. So I took this bracket and swapped it out for my own, so I could have the heater in my own car now. So taking a bit off it, and same with the engine, pulled that out, sold it, kept the gearboxes. So whenever I need anything, I can pull it from here inside, but it's just been standing here. I know my front axle on my current one is quite bad, so I might pull the diff of this one and take some stuff out.
Yeah, because we've just been out, haven't we, in the woods, and you've in your Disco 2. So do you just particularly like the Disco? Or
I think they're quite cool, because the frame-wise, the build-up is the same as a Defender, just got a bit more luxury. You got the air suspension in the back, self-leveling. You got the what's it called, the hydraulic articulating thing as well. The what's it called, self-leveling system onto it. So it is just a Defender, just with extra bits, and they're actually quite a lot cheaper in Denmark to buy. I bought mine again for nothing, and it took us a weekend. We swapped the gearbox and the clutch, and we had it running. Pretty much had a car for free there.
It's similar to Defenders, I guess, in the UK, that they're just more expensive because they're Defenders.
Yeah, the icon, but the drivetrain is exactly the same.
Same here, you can get a Disco for a fraction of the price of a Defender, just because of the name and everything.
Yeah.
But, underneath there's a lot of similarities, and the capability is quite similar.
Yeah.
So it's just people like Defenders, which is understandable.
Yeah, they're the sort of most iconic, aren't they? But you get Defender tax.
Yeah, exactly. The Defender tax.
And then Danish tax here.
And the Danish tax on top of that. Then we got my old series, which was meant to be the original Creeper, but I decided just to scrap the idea and went for a whole new chassis from England, from Designer Chassis. But I brought this one thinking that I'm going to restore it and put a cool V8 engine in it. And this one actually came from a farm not too far from here.
Yeah.
Because it got a sign there called the Tirsbaek Gone It. And Tirsbaek is like a name from the farm. It's not too far from here. So my dad actually knew who had this car before it was sold off to a guy. And we went up and picked it up, went back home, and the guy I brought it off said it wouldn't drive. It could start, but it wouldn't drive.
Yeah.
Said, all right, I'll try and take it in. So we got it for nothing. And when we got back home, we saw the high-low range lever was in the middle, so it's in neutral. So we just pushed it forward and put it into gear, and we took it around the farm here. It was actually working. So we swapped one hose on it from the carburetor, then it worked. And then we was out in your barn for a couple of years, and we started it out there and drove it back here, and now we're just sitting here. So new battery, we could probably get it started. But I want to put a TD5 engine in this one, get a coil-sprung chassis, get the power steering, and then a TD5 engine with an automatic transmission in it.
Yeah.
I think it'll be a cool workhorse. The diesel grunt.
Have you got an idea on priority, which vehicle is next in terms of that?
I think it's my daily driver has to, have normal maintenance, but otherwise it will be the Creeper once I get time. I'm getting married here in October, so I'm saving every single penny to pay for that wedding. But once that is over, I will start.
I expect weddings aren't any cheaper in Denmark than in the UK.
No, they're extremely expensive. I put a budget and just gone with that budget and make a new one. So that's really expensive. Luckily, we got some locations down here and church nearby, and so. But it's still going to be pretty expensive. But when that is done, I'll put all my money into the Creeper with the RB engine and get that run, because that is my goal.
Well, I guess it'd be interesting to know a bit more about this place, because I mean, what kind of place is this where there's so many old Land Rovers and bits and pieces? Like, where are we?
Well, we are in Denmark, in Vejle, more specifically. Well, an old house, first time mentioned in 1401 on a piece of paper, saying that Tirsbaek, which is what's called, was also our name is from TirsbaekTV.
Yeah,
was mentioned.
That's where that comes from. So
yeah.
The channel called Tirsbaek. Well,
it's the place.
The farm we live on.
Yeah, the farm we live on.
I'm interested. Is the TV, is that just like television, or is it?
It's just TV as in
Sure.
like this
YouTube,
is Tirsbaek and we make videos. So TV.
Sure.
Yeah.
I wondered if it was like some Danish acronym for something else.
No.
So,
That's just TV. Because at first we did both tractors, we did quad bikes around and all that before we focused a bit more onto the Land Rover part, because we had Land Rovers everywhere.
Yeah.
It's the only
That's
thing we
also,
drove.
I think, when we were posting videos on YouTube, that's the thing we saw, I guess, that people were most...
Yeah.
That got the most traction was,
Sure.
When we did Land Rover stuff, there's obviously a big community around Land Rovers, so
Yeah.
when we focused in on that, I think, and that's the thing with YouTube, you kind of have to have a bit of a niche. Before, like, we did quad bikes and tractors and a bit of everything.
It was just a bit too much, was it?
Yeah, it's a bit of everything.
Once we kind of narrow it down, which I think is the case for any business or channel or whatever, you start a bit broader and you find your thing eventually.
You narrow it in. So you start going everywhere, then you'll focus in a bit.
Yeah.
So we've grown up around
Yeah.
these things, so they've always been a part of our lives
Yes.
in some way.
And the first Land Rover we got driving was a lightweight, and I was actually standing next to that one, just standing over there, which was an old guy who lived here, who watched over the horses and had some stuff to do with them. He parked his car over there, sold it to my dad, and then he died a couple of years later. And then we got it starting after, I don't know, 7-8 years standing still, the old lightweight. Got it started, and then we just went around in the woods and driving around. So it was pretty much fun just to drive it around. And then we got a GoPro 1, stuck it on the front, and then just started from there.
We duct taped it.
The mount is still on there, I think. We can see the mount on it.
So yeah, that was our first YouTube video.
Yeah. Very boring, but it was just the front of the car just driving down muddy.
That was like, I mean,
muddy
we were
path.
like 15, 16 years old back then. So back then the lightweight was, I mean, you too young to have a driving license, but Nisse used to drive the lightweight around the farm.
Yeah.
So that's kind of why it was like, that was the vehicle.
Yeah, that was the vehicle.
You happened to be using it at the time.
Exactly.
So, but I guess we'll run into it at some point. I don't even know where it is.
Oh, it's
it'll be somewhere around here.
Up in the next
We
barn.
can move on to the
Should we have a look?
barn buildings.
Excellent. No, these are proper barns, aren't they?
Oh, there's a Disco 3 for some.
Ooh,
we got
Disco
two of them.
3.
Not sure why. But
No, that was.
there's two of them.
There's two of them. They were used for an event, and he haven't come pick them up yet. A guy we work with. Otherwise, we have a big wall here of spare parts. And right now they're moved into another barn, but there was an old Land Rover Series 3 that crashed up in a local town many years ago. My dad brought the car off and just like, you don't want it, it's completely crashed, I can take it off your hands. So he went up, took it home, completely disassembled it. So we have a Land Rover Series 3 in 3 boxes. Like everything, instrument panel, frame, engine, gearbox, everything just popped down. But different kind of engines we swapped out and some gearboxes as well. And I think we got a front screen here and a rear door for a Land Rover in there.
Yeah.
And we got, again, piles and piles of Land Rover bits and bobs. Got a ignition, bonnet, panels here. I'm going to be using some of these panels for my project. And some seats from some different Defenders have been swapped out. So again, this is what to expect on this farm. You've got Land Rover engine, Caterpillar, 2 other Land Rover engines up there. So it's great fun. So if I'm missing anything, I can just come look around.
I mean, I guess that's a real advantage having a farm.
Yeah.
You've got that storage space and machinery as well, to a point, haven't you?
And then we've got the old county tractors here.
Oh, nice. Following a theme with the Land Rover.
Yeah, we do Ford New Holland and the old county tractors here, where the one furthest on the right, the biggest one, was originally on the farm from new, sold it off, my granddad did. And then the local farmer who brought it off him said he can't use it anymore, he wants to sell it. And then my granddad went straight out and said, I'm buying it.
Yeah.
So he came back to the farm. So he started here, and then 30 years later he came back again and been partly restored. It was called Super Bamse, which means like super teddy bear.
Yeah.
So that was the nickname of it. Still called Super Bamse. But it's quite big. It's 145 horsepower, 4-wheel drive county. And then 2 smaller ones my dad brought for interest. And they're worth quite a lot of money today. They are like old Land Rovers, kind of the same with the county tractors for the right buyer. But and then we've got the 2 only John Deeres in here. One full-blooded John Deere and one who kind of wants to be a Ford with the Ford collar on the front of it as a bit of a joke.
Yeah.
But they're the only 2 John Deeres we got down here. Otherwise, it's Ford in New Holland who we drive.
Yeah.
And this one is used in the wine field, that one.
Yeah.
And the Gator is just all-round vehicle, works for everything.
Yeah, the Gators are good fun.
Yeah, they're really good, also off-road.
And a bit of canoeing as well.
And a small canoe. I think we use on the moat for different things, but we've got some boats up there as well on that barn, or top of that loft up there.
I mean, you just said a moat. I mean, we're going to have a look at a moat.
Yeah, have a look.
It's when your house has a moat.
Yeah,
something, isn't it?
All the way around it. That's quite a lot of fun. But yeah.
Oh, it's rare to see some discos as well.
Yeah.
So how many people have you got working on the farm?
Not a lot, actually. I think we got on payroll there about 2 or 3 coming in every day. Otherwise, it's just people around who wants to come down and do something.
Yeah.
So it's not a lot.
Family and friends.
Yeah, family and friends as well. Yeah.
Because it's no small job.
No.
Job
It's a lot of work. But as long as you like it, it's not that bad.
I guess it's a little bit of, there's like a little bubble community.
Yeah, it really is.
So I think everyone is just kind of part of it. Everyone chips in some way.
Yeah. The same when we're doing the wine harvest as well. We've got a lot of friends coming down who just wants to see the process of harvesting and making actual wine. And then, of course, they get a bottle of their own wine.
So, what's Danish wine like?
It's not like other types of wine, but it is Danish wine, and it is actually quite nice compared to what weather we have. But we are getting hotter and hotter weather, as we spoke about down at the beach.
Yeah.
So the weather is getting more adequate for actually doing wine on different stages.
And will it be more sort of white grape varieties?
Yeah, definitely white grape. We got some black or some red grapes up there this year as well. We're going to try out, but I think it will be another 10, 15 years before you can actually start doing proper red wine.
Yeah.
But a rosé, and we got white wine, and we got champagne. You can't call it champagne, but sparkling wine. We also do that. And it's great fun to do. It's quite nice.
Nice, the big machinery.
Yeah. And the theme continues. We got blue and we got green, Land Rover green up here.
Yeah.
That's about it. So that's the part of the crashed Land Rover that my dad pulled out. Some of the parts from that one, so it's nice to have.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we have a Series 3 diesel that we are fixing, been doing fixing for quite some time. But we're just fixing it up to sell it because we don't really need another one. But we kind of halted a bit with the fixing. But I think in winter, when we have time, we'll pull it back into it. We just need assembling right now.
Yeah.
All the body work is done. There's no rust in that. Yeah, and then we got my stupid project here, the Creeper, with the Skyline engine in it. I'm doing up.
So when that's finished, how much power are you expecting?
Right now, it is good for... what the Danish authorities say, but the engine as it stands right there should go for about 400 brake horsepower, maybe a bit more.
And that's just theoretical. In reality, it's much less. Yeah,
it's 150. But this is a Nissan Skyline RB25, the Neo, the later version of the engine with non-hydraulic lifters onto it. I got from a friend, did the engine mounts on it, did the delete, because normally the diff is onto the sump of it, cut that off and welded it up. That married up to a BMW ZF gearbox, 6-speed, and then from there on another adapter plate onto the Land Rover LT2, not LT2, the LT230 reduction gearbox. So it will have selectable 4-wheel drive and it will have a high and low range as a normal Land Rover will have, but it's meant for speed.
Yeah.
And then chassis is coil sprung, got some axles. We got Salisbury rear axle for just to get the power down to the ground without splitting anything. And then steering box as well from an old Defender in a Lithuanian shooting field, a target practice car that I stole it from. That's quite nice.
And that is the one, so that's the one you want to get back on the road?
That's the one I want to get back on the road somehow. Yeah. And again, there's still quite a lot of jobs to be done, but whenever I'm sitting doing something else or daydreaming in a tractor, I'm kind of figuring out how to do the wiring, how to do the fuel pumps, and and all those kind of systems. So right now the fuel system is actually done, and I just need a tiny bit more on the power steering side. Then that is done. Then I just need the turbo. So right now I started on fabricating the wings on the front, on how this one can be here, how I can get the turbo mounted and all that. So that will be the next step onto it. But again, I do tiny bits of work each year to get something done onto it. But
well, wedding first, it sounds like.
Yeah, that's getting prioritized. Can't do much about that. So
we get quite a lot of comments at the moment of people asking what happened to the creek.
Yeah, it is still here.
Here it is. Yeah.
Here it is. So still got some bits to do. But it's still a dream to get. I need to get it driving. I put too much money into it now to just let it go to some other hands. So I need to get it driving soon.
Yeah. Fantastic.
And then we got some more. Got my old disco gearbox there. Got a BMW M57 3-litre up there. I think it's a TU, where it's like aluminium heads, but iron cast block. And we got some Range Rover bits, classic, over there. And at the bottom we got a ZF gearbox from the BMW engine. I want to use something automatic transmission.
Yeah.
Again, just good to have for projects. I want to put those of the BMW engine into a 101, so as a workshop vehicle.
Yeah.
So right now I'm just storing it, see what happens. So yeah, then we go to the back. We've got some 101s and a lightweight. Oh, we also got the fun car, the fun Land Rover.
The fun Land Rover?
Yeah, it's a bit weird to drive, but it's great fun. It's like a team building Land Rover. Yep, 2 101s, V8s. Beautiful machines.
So this is sort of more military, the military area?
Yeah, these ones are both military. One of these were picked up in the UK, I can't remember which one, and one's from Belgium.
Well, surely the one with the Union Jack, or was that something else?
I think that's the green one, but the Belgian one.
The Belgian one, the first one.
There was, I remember we had a comment from, on one of the 101 videos, someone saying there was something special about this one. I can't remember, and I have to go and dig out that comment. But there was something about this one that was kind of, like, it's quite rare, but I don't know. Okay. Something about it being
a bit unique.
We'll figure out, and then I think that's the one that was driven over in the UK.
So I guess, is that right-hand drive?
Both left-hand drive.
Okay.
So they're worth quite a lot in Denmark as well, but they did both make the right and left-hand drive compared to when they're doing deployments or so to follow the traffic regulations, and made both versions of it. But again, these are gun tractors. They're meant to be towing artillery and artillery shells on the back. And you can also get one with the radio body called the Vampire, which is the rarest one you can get. I think it's 2,500 built of them. So they're quite rare to get off. But these ones are just the normal gun tractors they're used in the British Army. Got a huge fuel tank for 110 litres or so, bigger than that, I think. And they're easy to take the sides off so you can load shells onto it and build it back up.
So what's the plan with these two?
That one's completely stuck. That one has gone pretty much nothing from new. How far has that travel? Having nearly travelled 9,000 kilometers from new.
Wow.
So that is pretty much brand new. And this one's gone a lot more, had a lot harder life. And that is the one I want to build into a mobile workshop with a BMW engine in it, doing some crane stuff on the back.
They can both drive.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that one was sort of like semi-restored, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. That one is pretty much restored.
And then this one was bought just for parts, I think.
For the winch.
For the winch.
Yeah.
So then once that was taken off, it just got stuck in a corner somewhere. And then some years ago now, I mean, it must have been back in like 2018 or something. It's quite, I mean, in my mind, I think it's like 2 years ago, but it's a lot longer.
4 years ago.
So yeah, then we got it back out back then and got it running ourselves and did a few videos with it. So I think, like, I don't know about you, but I'm a little bit attached to this. I know that we kind of got it out ourselves and got it running. So
yeah.
And it's easy to mess with because you can just pull the engine straight from the top of the gearbox and just lower a new one in and weld it on.
Yeah. Well, still on the UK plate.
Yeah, still got the UK plates on that. But this one's only brought to get the winch on it, which was mounted here and onto the gearbox. So we had the special lever and all that. And that was meant to be put on that one at some point. But I guess you got a good price on this one.
Yeah, nice.
And then we got the infamous lightweight, where it all started.
Yeah.
This was what appeared in our very first YouTube video was this lightweight. So it's also kind of special for us in that way.
Yeah,
It's
no,
quite special for us.
Yeah, I love a lightweight. Something about just the complete hot arches there.
But yeah, put some duct tape on it, put some new glow plugs,
happy days.
turned the key, started running, drove it around the woods. But it was great fun to drive.
Did it get a chance to go out now or not so much?
No, not so much. I think only moving around when we are
Yeah.
sweeping the floor and pulling around the wagons. We'll just be standing still.
Like most things around here, it's one of those things. It's like one day we'll
Do
something with it.
And that one day never comes.
Just hoarding them for now.
Yeah, it is. Well, it's just finding the time, isn't it? When you've got
Time and money.
time and money. We don't have enough of.
No. Well, again, this one has been on the farm for at least 30 years, if not more, from the previous owner who lived here. Sold it to us and sadly he passed away a couple of years later.
Yeah. Out of interest, these little decals of the horse, down here, do they mean?
That was just because he was managing the horses and he did a lot of horse stuff, so he put that into it. That's the only reason. Because we did have 7 or 8 horses up in the field when we had most. Now we only got 2 or 3 from one's renting the woods out, a house out in the woods.
That looks pretty serious.
And this was the garage for the Land Rover Experience.
Okay.
Where they drove the car in here and then they had some stuff they can shine them up with and do so on. But that one is my old one, which also pretty much started the channel when we got that one, where we focused on Land Rover bits.
Yeah.
And went that route instead. And from that we got the Heritage Edition from Land Rover, brought in 2016 when they stopped the production of the Land Rover. They did 3 different versions where we got that one. And as we know, it's the only one in Denmark, and there's no plates on it because it's bloody expensive to get plates on it in Denmark.
Yeah.
And then the Series 1 is also our chief instructor's, who's now retired but still drives Land Rover. He got this one in pretty rough shape, but got a mechanic to get into driving order, so that's really cool. It's a fun little car. And we haven't driven that one. I had it featured in our channel yet, but probably will do at some point.
Yeah, well, Series 1 was where it began.
Yeah.
Just really good.
That is the start of everything. Land Rover.
It's nice seeing that, and then you've got
the final
sort of
actual
the rollout.
Defender here, the QE.
I mean, this is just immaculate.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I mean it's
I guess that's more a collector piece, isn't it?
yeah, it's done.
It is.
I don't know.
Can't even see it now.
1,000 kilometers,
Yeah.
maybe something like that. I mean, it gets taken out occasionally for. Actually, it's been used for some events and things. I think.
Yeah, on Sjælland.
Display.
You drove it over to Sjælland at one
I
point.
drove it once actually to over to the other side of the country for an event. So we put like test plates or whatever you call them, like dealer plates.
Sure, yeah.
So we
So
could take it out on the road and drove it. I drove it over to the other side of the country, which was quite nice to be given the honor to put like 250 kilometers on it.
Yeah.
It's only done like 1,000 or 2,000 or whatever. So
It was a bit nicking you said driving that one on the road.
It's like,
Not crashing
you
it,
know,
the only
what's
one.
like to happen to it, so but it all went fine. So it's-
We can have a look inside of it. It got the gear levers as well, color match with those small colors, so them fit up with the traditional one, high-low range and diff, which is a nice touch.
And seat covers all over as well, of course,
Yeah.
to protect that.
To
'cause it's
protect
got
the
this, this like beige fabric seat.
Yeah, you can lift it up.
Oh yeah, I can
That's
see.
beautiful.
But no, I mean it smells new.
Yeah.
That is, yeah. I mean, saying so. You had this at the start of your channel.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a bit of a.
When we figured out we needed to go in Land Rover direction, when I got this one. And that has definitely taken a beating over the years. But it started out as a normal Defender, then somebody fit a 3.5 liter V8 with the automatic transmission from a Classic into it, and then it just had that ever since. And I put big tires, wheel arches, very cool. I would still say the best looking front winch bumper you can find from for a Defender.
Yeah.
And rock sliders and stuff. So it's just been kitted out pretty much.
And did you say potentially that one can start?
Yeah, This one I started at winter, I think. It went straight up, but it's a bit loud. It's straight pipe, so
Well, I might have to get an exhaust shot.
I might just get my keys up here. Got a fuel pump. Come on. Yep.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah. It's quite nice. You can sit here all day.
So do you take this one out much anymore or not really?
No, not really.
No.
We did take some off-roading trips because this one got the winch on the front as well. So if we get stuck, we can always pull out with that one. But again, it is fairly easy to get number plates on. I haven't got the indicator on the right side working. I got some small engine problems, but it would take a weekend. I could drive it up and get plates on it if I wanted to, and it will cost me, I don't know, 80 pounds, 100 pounds a year to have it on plates because it's a veteran. It's more than 35 years old. But again, I got a new engine for it. I'm building up at some point to get it in.
I mean, yeah, what doesn't come across in, sort of recording is the smell.
Yeah,
The intoxicating
it's very,
smell,
very rich.
literally, and just everything. Yeah, amazing.
It's running extremely rich right now, but rather than that, than lean. But that was great fun when I was 18 years old. Just got my driver's license.
Oh man, yeah, proper
Perfect
hooligan.
car
Yeah.
to drive around in town with the big wheels as well.
I mean, what a collection.
Yeah.
What a collection. Well, what next? I mean, you haven't got enough yet.
I think we got the spare parts department as the last one. I don't think we've got any Land Rovers in there. I think that'll be the last.
No,
stop
what would
we
you
do.
know? What's the next one to buy?
Oh, next one to buy. Don't know. I think it's just restoring from now on.
Yeah.
Getting some of the vehicles running. I think that's the next stop. That's where all my stuff gets thrown in,
Yeah.
so it doesn't disappear on the farm. So we got a 3.9 V8 top head lined in the back, and then we got a TD5 from my old one I need to have a look at. 2 reduction gearboxes and some seats, a turbo for the Skyline, which can, speak for itself, quite big.
Yeah. Yeah.
That will get it to 400 brake horsepower. A clutch kit, spare clutch kit from LOF Clutches. Best clutches you can get, in my opinion.
Yeah.
More spare parts. Yeah. A lot of cool stuff. But if I need anything or any spare parts as well, I've kind of got a wrench in here with Skyline parts here. We've got a manifold de-webbed. Not de-webbed yet, but will be.
I mean, what's it like in Denmark getting parts just generally for us? Because obviously, British-based car. Is it a bit of a pain, or is it?
It is a bit, especially when Brexit happened. That kind of hit quite hard compared to taxes and all that. But right now we're buying from paddocks where they do the whole calculations of the price you pay is what you pay to get the item in your hand. Otherwise, you have to buy it, and then you have to go through taxes, and you have to send them money, and then it will take 2 weeks for you to get something.
Yeah.
But paddocks kind of figured that one out, so that's why I'm buying from all my parts from paddock spares. But in Denmark, we have 3 or 4 big shops that deliver parts, so you can always find a drive shaft or whatever you need, a new turbo. You can definitely get that, but they're quite pricey in Denmark. They are, so it's easier to find them in England, in the UK, and then get them shipped here.
Yeah,
definitely is.
Well, let us know next time we're in Denmark if we need to bring something over from
Yeah,
the UK.
we'll fill up your car completely. Tell you what we need. spare parts.
Again, a massive thank you to Liam and Nisse for spending the day with us. If you haven't already checked out their YouTube channel, it's well worth a visit with some fantastic Land Rover content. And if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll catch you next time.